Hi, and welcome to Crafts with Ash DIY and Decor. My name's Ashley, and today I'm going to bring you 3 Thanksgiving DIYs. Now, I was not planning to actually do any Thanksgiving DIYs, but after I did my Thanksgiving tier tray, I read a lot of comments thanking me for giving some Thanksgiving DIY ideas. So I thought that I would just throw out a quick video with some other Thanksgiving ideas. First, if you haven't done so already, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that little notification bell so you're notified anytime I upload a new video. Also, click the drop-down menu and click all so you're notified about all notifications. All right, let's get started with these Thanksgiving DIYs. Now in today's video, you're going to notice that I kind of do a little bit of different styles here. So we're going to start off with a really fun one. The first thing I'm going to do is take one of these pumpkins, and it has like that middle piece in it, and I just used my little scraper to pop that off. Now I'm going to flip it over to the back and use my hair dryer and my scraper to get the dang sticker off the back. You know that those drive me crazy. After that, I'm going to take that piece that I had popped off and I'm going to glue it to the top of my pumpkin. Now this is starting to form the shape of a turkey. Now I do have 2 little turkeys here, but I only ended up making 1, so you're just going to see me create 1. But after I had that glued down, I'm going to take my nutmeg apple barrel paint and I'm going to give my turkey a good coat of that. Next, I'm going to take my mocha apple barrel paint and I'm going to outline the inside of the turkey's head and the turkey's belly and then paint in the middle. Now you can see that I am leaving a little border around the head, and I'm going to be leaving a border around the belly as well. After my turkey was dry, I took 6 jumbo popsicle sticks or craft sticks that I got from Walmart, and I cut them in half, and this was to create feathers of the turkey. So at first I started cutting them like at the length it would be, but then I realized that if you just cut them in half, it's so much easier to work with. So as I did this, I kind of just tested it to see how I wanted my feathers to look, and I went taller in the middle, and then as it went out to the sides, they got shorter. So I kept arranging them as I went. And I apologize, I believe I actually used 4 craft sticks and then cut them in half to have 8 pieces. And I did 2 at the top, just straight up, and then I just feathered them out. Now, once I got all of my pieces cut, I went ahead and started painting them. So I painted 2 of them with Waverly chalk paint in the color Moss. And then I painted 2 of them in the color Maize from Waverly. Then I colored 2 of them in the color Crimson from Waverly. And then the last 2 I painted Pumpkin from Waverly. After they were dry, I took a sanding block and I sanded the edges because I really wanted this to look rustic. I did want this to be bright and vibrant, but I wanted to add the rustic touch to it as well. So I made sure to sand the edges really, really well. And I did this on all of my feathers. Real quick, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to my YouTube channel. If you're new, thank you so much for stopping by today. I really hope you love what you see and choose to stick with me by subscribing to my channel. If you're returning, you already know I love you. I appreciate you. Please keep leaving comments. Please keep liking my videos. I truly appreciate all of your support. So then I took my sanding block and I sanded the turkey as well. Then I went through and took my Waverly Antique Wax and I went over the edges of my feathers and then the turkey as well. Then I took my sanding block and I sanded all of my pieces down again just to help the Waverly Antique Wax blend in. So you're gonna have to let me know, when you decorate your home, do you do fall, Halloween, and then fall but with turkeys? Or do you just go from Halloween to Christmas? Do you not do Halloween and you just keep up fall until Christmas? Comment down below and tell me what you do. I do September 1st fall, and then October 1st Halloween, then November 1st all my fall stuff goes back up plus turkeys, and then after Thanksgiving, like Black Friday, I take all that down and Christmas goes up. So let me know in the comments what your decorating schedule is like. So after I had all my pieces sanded down, I went ahead and arranged my feathers and then I hot glued them all together. And I did make sure that they were feathered out, no pun intended. And then I went ahead and hot glued my turkey body onto the feathers as well. Now I made sure to add a generous amount of hot glue because obviously I really want my feathers to stick on there. Next, it was time to create a little face for my turkey. So I took another craft stick and I'm just going to cut a triangle out of this stick. And that is what I'm going to use for its beak. So I went ahead and sanded that down, and then I'm going to paint it with that maize color. Next, I'm going to stick it in the middle of his little face, but before I glue it down, I'm going to take some of that crimson paint, and I'm going to paint the... Alright, now y'all know I'm not good at names like this. Comment down below, what is this thing called? I think I know it, but I don't want to say it because I don't think I'm right. So if you know what that thingy is called, comment down below. Alright, so after that was painted on, I went ahead and hot glued my beak. Then I took my paint marker and I drew two little eyes, and I actually went back and kind of made them more oval shape because I just thought it looked cuter. There we go, I made them a little bigger. And then after that, I took an end of a little paintbrush and I dipped it in my white paint and added two little dots so the eyes really came to life. And then I took my Waverly Antique Wax and just kind of dulled down the yellow a little bit with that. Next, it was time to make a stand. So I hot glued 2 tumbling tower blocks on top of each other, and then hot glued that set to the back of my turkey. And this made the perfect little stand for it. After that, I took a piece of twine and I'm just going to tie a simple twine bow, and I'm going to hot glue that on top of my turkey, and now it's a girl turkey. And I thought that was so cute. So this DIY is just more fun, and you know, obviously it screams Thanksgiving with turkey. So like I said, today's DIYs, they're going to be all 3 are going to be different styles. Then to finish this off, I used some foam 3D letters and I spelled out the word thankful, and then to tone down the black, I just brushed some white paint over it, and I thought this was so cute. What do you think? So my next DIY is going to be different colors. So it's going to hit on that moss or like that blue color that a lot of people are adding into their fall decor. So the first thing I did was start off with a canvas, and I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut on the outside of the staples to go ahead and remove that canvas. So you can definitely take all the staples out if you'd like, but I just decided to leave them in, and honestly, as I pulled off the canvas, some of the staples came out anyways. So, but it didn't bother me, so I just left them on. But I'm just going to go through and cut off all of the canvas on this frame. So now I'm just going through and just picking off any of the, pieces of canvas that was kind of left. And now I'm going to sand the front of my frame down a little bit because it was a little rough. And then I'm going to take a baby wipe. I'm going to dip it into my Waverly Antique Wax. And I'm going to faux stain my frame by just wiping that Waverly Antique Wax on it. And I am going to go and stain the front of the frame and around all the sides. Next, I'm going to take this scrapbooking paper that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to trace it on the canvas that I had just pulled off the frame. I'm doing this because I just didn't think that the scrapbook paper was going to be like firm enough, strong enough, so I just wanted to add another layer to it. So of course, after I trace the paper on, I'm going to cut around it, and then I'm simply just going to use hot glue to glue the scrapbook paper onto the canvas. Then I just trimmed around the edges of the canvas and cut off any extra canvas. And the scrapbook paper was a little bigger than the frame itself, so I did have to go ahead and trace the frame on the paper and then cut it down so that way it would fit. And I am tracing on the outside of the frame. So now I'm just going to cut it off. After it was all cut down to size, I just simply used my hot glue to hot glue my scrapbook paper on the back of my sign. Next, I'm going to take this pumpkin that I got from the Dollar Tree, and it has that pretty blue color in it that a lot of people, like I said, are incorporating in their fall colors this year. So I'm just going to take the hanger off because I'm not going to need it. And then I'm going to make it look a little rustic by taking my Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm just going to dab, dab, dab all the way around the edges and then on the inside as well. I just really wanted to kind of make this look more antiqued. And I definitely paid attention to where the little indents were too, because I wanted to highlight those. Now, to attach this, it is metal, so I knew hot glue alone would not be strong enough. So I'm going to hot glue 2 tumbling tower blocks together, and then I'm going to hot glue that set to the middle of my canvas. And I'm going to do that 3 times, so I have 3 sets of 2. Then I added hot glue originally, but it didn't stick because, like I just said, metal does not go well with hot glue. So I do end up adding some super glue on there as well. Now this will work, but you do have to completely let your pumpkin sit on it and set. Let the glue set, let the glue dry, and I would even recommend putting something heavy on top so that way the pumpkin is adhered. So after that, I wanted to make a little hanger for it, so I grabbed some twine. I tied a knot at the end and then tied a couple more knots like on top of each other to make it a wider knot, if that makes sense. And now I'm going to add 6 20mm beads to the hanger. Now, I always have the link to these beads in my description box below if you need to pick some up. I got them from Amazon, and they come in a big pack, and they're pretty inexpensive. So if you work a lot with beads, I would just recommend getting, big packs of them because you're going to get more bang for your buck. It's just going to be more cost effective like that. So I added 6, like I said, and then after that, I went ahead and put some knots at the end of that. And then I hot glued the string down to the back of my canvas where the knots were. The knots really helped to have something to grab onto. Then after that, to give it a little bit more security, I took my duct tape and I'm going to add duct tape to either side as well. And this is just going to help it stick. And that was it. And I thought that this was so easy to make. It literally took me minutes to make, and I thought it came out so cute. But you tell me, what do you think? For my last DIY, this is going to be a little farmhouse, but a little bit traditional too. So I started off with this board that I got from the Dollar Tree around Halloween, and I purposely am using this one because, as you can see, there's buffalo check print on either side. So I'm just going to start off by painting the top of this with Waverly chalk paint and white. And I am careful not to get any of the paint on the sides, although as you can see I didn't do a great job of that. But I just went ahead and let that dry, and then after it was dry, I added some of my nutmeg paint on top. And I did add 2 coats. After that, I wanted to cover the top, so I took some burlap, and I'm going to cut off a piece long enough to fit over the top of that board. And I am going to cut it in half, so like long ways, so that way it's not so wide. And then I'm going to cut the edges off because I want to fray this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the seam. Then I'm going to fray each edge by pulling the strings off on the sides. After I had it all ready to go, I just simply hot glued it on the top of my board. Now you want to be careful and use something to push it down because it's burlap, it could burn you. Next, I'm going to take this thankful sign that I got from the Dollar Tree, and after I remove the hanger, I'm going to paint this entire thing in black paint. Now you do want to make sure to get every section, every nook and cranny. So I start off with a thick foam brush, and then I do go in with a smaller paintbrush to get in all of the little spaces. This is your friendly reminder that if you're loving what you see so far, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Not only does it really help my channel to grow, but it tells YouTube you're loving my content and you want to see more. So please smash that like button. Once my word was dry, I'm going to take some ivory chalk paint and I'm just going to dry brush some of that over the top of my word, just to kind of dull down the bold black color. Plus, I also thought it gave it a really cool effect. So after I had this completely painted, I am taking these little wooden blocks that I got in a pack from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue 2 of them together, and I'm going to make 3 of these little sets. My goal here is to raise up the word on top of my board, and you'll see why in just a little bit. So after I had all of my sets glued together, I'm just simply going to go through and paint each set with black acrylic paint. Now, my plans for this DIY actually changed. So I originally glued these down to my base, my little base, going one way, and then you're going to see that I actually switch it. So you can see that I'm gluing them going up and down so that they're longer on top of my word, but then I didn't like that. So I'm going to pop those off, and then I'm going to glue them going long ways onto my word. And I'm just basically gluing wherever it makes sense to glue these on the word, so wherever the longer parts were or the parts that would touch my base. So I'm going to glue these on the word first, and then I'm just going to simply hot glue these down onto the base. And I did hold it there a little bit, that way the glue adhered and it would stand up. So next I'm just going to take a variety of different leaves, acorns, pine cones, pumpkins, and little berries, and I'm just going to start making a really pretty arrangement. Now I'm doing the mirror method. I don't know if I made that up or if I heard that from somewhere, but basically that means whatever I do on one side, I'm doing on the other. And I use this method on a lot of my flower arrangements because I'm not the best at doing arrangements, but it helps guide me at least. It gives me something to follow. So if I glue an orange leaf on the left, I'm going to glue an orange leaf on the right and vice versa. So I'm just following the same pattern on each side. Now the reason why I wanted my word to be raised up was because I actually wanted the leaves to go underneath the word. And now I know that you're going to say, well, you could have just glued everything down first and then glued the word on top. Totally, you could totally do that, but I wanted to be able to play around with the leaves and stuff, and I don't know, it just made more sense to me to raise, just thought it'd be easier to raise it up and then work with it like that. So I'm just going to go through and add a bunch of leaves, and these leaves came in a pack from the Dollar Tree. And so I just had them in my stash. So now I'm just kind of mixing up all the colors. And then you can see I have some little pumpkins off to the side that I'm going to add as well. And then I had these berry picks I'm going to add to the sides. So like I said, this is a little farmhouse because of the black word and the buffalo check pattern, but yet traditional because I am using traditional colors for the leaves and the berries. So I don't know, you tell me if you like this combination. Now typically I'm not a farmhouse girl, and it never would have been my first choice to paint this word black, but I just thought that it went better because I don't know, I just thought that it coordinated better with the black and white buffalo check. So now I'm going to go in with some yellow berries, and I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put my little pumpkins. And I got these little pumpkins actually, well, some of them I think I got off of a pick from the Dollar Tree, but those smaller ones I got from the Target dollar spot. So originally I hot glue the big one to the end, but then I'm going to move the big one to the middle. Then I'm going to hot glue the two smaller ones to the end. But I didn't like how there was a separation between the pumpkin and the word. So you're going to see that I actually try right here to hot glue the pumpkin to the word. I just wanted it to stay kind of upright more. But I did have to add a generous amount of hot glue to get it to stick. So now I'm going to hot glue my other pumpkin on the other side. And then I'm going to go through and add these little berries. And I really liked adding these because, I don't know, it just added like another color. And it just darkened it up, and I really loved it. I thought that all these elements really went well together, in my opinion. Now this would be cute to put, you know, on a dessert table for Thanksgiving, or the food table, or just, you know, on a shelf. I did not paint the back of this word, but if you did, you may be even able to use it as a centerpiece, and you can add some leaves on the back of it as well. I just wanted to do the front because I think I have an idea of where I'm going to put this, and the back's not going to be seen. So I never waste the paint or do anything like that if I know that the backs aren't seen. And keep in mind, I don't sell my crafts. If anything, I give them away to family, and it's just family. They don't care about the backs. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to add in some pine cones just wherever I see that there's a hole. And I think that this all came together really well. I was a little nervous, to be completely honest, but I do think that it came together well. And I think the contrast of the black with all of the traditional colors is really neat too. So then I just had a pick of 2 acorns, so I cut those apart and I added those on my display as well. So now I'm just kind of looking it over, make sure that I'm loving how it looks. And this stinking pumpkin, I had to hot glue it 3 times to my word to make it stick, and this last time I held it there. I mean, obviously it's sped up, but then I decided that I wanted to actually add in more of those darker berries, so I just pulled off more of those and just stuck them in some little bare spots. And I just think that this is really cool, really neat. I think it's really pretty. And then to top this whole thing off, I'm just going to take a piece of twine. I'm going to tie it in a simple bow, just like I did in the first DIY. And then I'm just going to hot glue that to the front of the stem in the middle pumpkin. And that was it. That completed this really pretty flower arrangement. And I want to know your thoughts on the contrasting colors. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Like I said, I really was not going to do any more Thanksgiving or fall DIYs, but I really wanted to throw some ideas out there just in case anyone was looking for some Thanksgiving DIYs, because I had a lot of comments, like I said, thanking me for the Thanksgiving tiered tray. So, and I do feel like this holiday does get skipped over, so I wanted to make a quick and easy video of these last minute Thanksgiving themed DIYs. So I really hope that you enjoyed all of them. I have to say, I think my favorite is that turkey. I think it's super cute. You're gonna have to let me know down in the comments what you think about all of these Thanksgiving DIYs today, and which one is your favorite. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the little notification bell, and smash that like button because it truly helps me out and helps me to grow. Well, until I see you again, I'll craft with you soon. Bye!